Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a reason why we've added AI risk management to our suite of services for agencies over the last 2 years. So I would say there's a couple very straightforward steps that agencies can take. And you can start tomorrow, and you can start internally, even on your own, with some of these things. First is every agency should have a written policy around AI usage for
Mm.
their internal organization. What platforms, what use cases, what are the approvals by humans required, what's off limits. Similarly, they should have a policy that's external facing, with their clients and possibly their vendors. What are your policies around AI use that you need us to know about? How do you use AI, et cetera, et cetera? Just the process of creating that policy framework helps you sort of pre-consider the scenarios you might find yourselves in. And it also means that your team is going to have this on their radar a little bit more clearly. And don't just write the policies. It's a team sport. Write them and talk about them with your team members and talk about them with your client representatives. That's the first thing. Secondly, yes, to your point a minute ago, you want relevant language in your client services agreements and in your independent contractor agreements around AI usage, that discusses liability and responsibility, but also maybe lays out some rules of the road. And, maybe you attach your external facing policy as an addendum to that contract, just as a belt and suspender approach. Um, then I would say the third most important thing to do as an agency is that every team member in your organization that's going to be working with one of these platforms, should be familiarizing themselves. And I know this sounds like paint drying, but with the terms and conditions of the platforms that they're going to be using. What do the terms say about responsibility, about IP ownership? I mean, I could spoiler alert for you a few of the major ones, but your team members need to be fluent in this, and not because they're lawyers or expected to be, but because they need
Mhm.
to understand. And they also need to be checking what level of license are you using, what kind of account. If you're using a free ChatGPT account, or your freelancer is, and you're
Yeah.
putting client data and information, that's not good. So you need to understand whether you're working with a closed system, whether the training is turned on or off, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So those three things can go a really far distance and not too much effort, in reducing your risk profile around AI usage. So it's policies, it's contract language, and it's reviewing T's and C's of the major AI platforms that you use. There's some others, but those are three great starting points that every agency could implement tomorrow, at least start. So, I always say shoot for progress, not perfection, because this is a moving target and a team sport, like I said earlier.